Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hank Cisco Show. Let's go.
With Ciao Bella, living Italian style, and as always, I'm honored to be a fill-in host for Hank Cisco on the Hank Cisco Show. So shout out to Hank, and hope you're going through and feeling better this holiday season. We miss you all, but we know to look out for your telephone calls. Actually, I think the phone in my pocket is ringing just as I say that, but it's always great to still get a call from you, Hank, so keep it up. In the meantime, you know, I always like to bring you news of what's happening in Italy and about Italian Americans in the United States. Well, today we're going to be talking about a lot of exciting things with two very special guests in the Philadelphia area. And it starts with what's to do in Philadelphia, and also a lot of the celebrity sightings that happen in Philadelphia associated with some of the movies you might want to tune into this holiday season. And the reason that I'm specifically focusing on Philadelphia, no matter where you're watching the show in the suburbs or the city of Philadelphia, we all gravitate to Center City. And if you're coming in from around the world, we just got a very special designation. According to Metro Philadelphia, which is one of the top popular newspapers all over the city, it comes out every day, so you can pick up a free copy anyplace. And National Geographic rated Philadelphia as one of the top 10 spots in the country to visit. And the only other spot other than Philadelphia was the Grand Canyon. So with that, we're going to explore Philadelphia and all its happenings. And I'd like to welcome my guest, Peg DeGrassa.
Happy to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. Peg is the editor of the Delaware County News Network, which is two regional newspapers. Peg?
It's Town Talk and the News and Press of Delaware County. And I'm also affiliated with the Delaware County Daily and Sunday Times.
And we have been friends for a long time, and I know your travels all around the county bring us all over the place. The other thing about Peg's articles, which you definitely should Google her, is that she's also read about online. All your stories end up online along the East Coast through the news network that you're associated with. And what's your recent accomplishment, I heard?
I just found out last night that one of my articles just got translated into Italian over in Abruzzi newspapers, and they picked it up. So it's going to, articles with the web, it's wonderful, because articles I hear from people in South Africa and Australia, your things get read around the world. And even though you might think they're more regional, that people aren't interested, people somehow or other, it sparks their interest and they read it. So it's always cool to get letters from far away like that.
And the world
to know
is
how it ripples.
It is getting smaller.
Right.
It is getting smaller and smaller.
For sure.
And actually, Peg and I have been longtime friends, actually as business acquaintances and then turning into friends. And now we have the next generation, and that's your daughter. I'd like to welcome Marguerite DeGrassa.
Ciao, Bella.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here, Marguerite.
I'm excited to be here.
Because I know that your everyday living is as a realtor for
Remax Mainline. I'm a realtor covering Philadelphia area, Delaware County, Chester County, the Main Line. I'm your go-to real estate girl.
And I love Marguerite's tagline. You have to tell them your tagline.
Yeah, wearing heels and making deals.
And wearing heels and making deals is definitely Marguerite DeGrassa.
Yeah.
But why she's here today, because she certainly learned from the coattails of your mother, when you followed her all around, you have something new on the web on the internet that we can tune into.
Yes, every Friday afternoon on my Facebook page at Realtor Marguerite DeGrassa, I host Weekend Johns, where I am telling you all of the fun things happening in our area for the weekend, because we live in a great area where you can head into the city, Delaware County, Chester County, you can all over. There's always fun things happening, and especially with the holidays going on right now, there's so many cool things going on.
So what do you think is one of the fun things to do in Philadelphia that you're recommending for the people?
Well, Philadelphia, you know that they have stuff going on for Christmas. So there's always the light show. That's the famous light show at the Old Wanamaker.
I know, that is
Yeah.
a beautiful thing. If our
There's-
listened reviewers haven't seen it, the organ still
Yep.
plays.
Yep.
There's a cool light show too, I think, in Franklin Square for the holidays. And at the zoo opened last night,
Yep.
a big light show.
Yeah.
Yes,
At the Philadelphia Zoo.
There's skating at Dilworth Park. I know there's the bar Tinsel. That is a pop-up bar in Philadelphia that's really major. They do it for Halloween, and now they have it for Christmas, where it is a Christmas. If Christmas is your favorite holiday, that is your dream place to go grab a drink, because
Over
it's
21,
all
it's called
over
Tinsel.
21.
It's called Tinsel?
But it's called Tinsel, and it's
Okay.
all Christmas themed. The whole place, drinks, the decorations, everything. So that's cool. to
And
go.
then they have the village around City
Yeah.
Hall.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
The Christmas Village
that gets better every year. Yeah.
And
larger every year,
Yeah.
and they've Winterfest at Penn's Landing.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Yeah.
At the City Hall, they have the carousel. I just saw in the newspaper that it was only $3 a ride, which is really
Yeah, you
very
can't beat
reasonable.
For
Yeah.
today's rates, that's great.
Oh, I know, but we got on
I
maybe
know.
when it was a quarter, but that was a while ago.
But right. That's
Right.
great. Yeah, the Comcast Center, that has the big Christmas
Yeah,
thing
yep.
going on. You can still do the traditional in Macy's that we did when we were little. There's so much going on. You could spend days down there.
Yeah, the
Yes,
list goes on.
and at one time our waterfront, where there was nothing to see at our
Right.
waterfront, and now
Now they're
some of the
having
things-
Winterfest where you
Yeah.
can skate down there. They have concessions and arcade games. They have all kinds of things down there now. They got huge.
Yeah, Marguerite, as one of the things that you like to do, what do you like to follow in Philadelphia when you are in the city?
Where
What's
do I
one
like
of your
to go?
favorite places to go?
Well, I'm a big foodie, so I like to try out different restaurants in Philadelphia. So, a favorite is Max Brenner, which is all chocolate themed. So, if you love chocolate, you can head there.
And where is that? We love
That's
chocolate.
Chestnut. I believe it's Chestnut Street.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and you
that's
can go in and get any kind of
anything.
chocolate.
They actually, it's like Willy Wonka, where they have it throughout the ceiling. They have it in big pipes, and it comes out at the. But they have it like a Willy Wonka, and everything from the food, like the fries or with cocoa powder, like everything's chocolate themed. So it's Hershey Park, but a little closer.
So,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that's a fun place.
Yeah.
And
And you
Peg?
saw a couple good shows down there this
Oh
week.
yeah. I've been going down like a theater connoisseur. I just saw Mean Girls down
Oh,
there.
I heard that's
Yeah.
Tina Fey's new movie,
Yeah,
isn't
Tina
it?
Fey's
Or-
new-
or-
yeah.
no,
Show.
play. I'm
I
sorry.
saw she was there last night. She was there the night after I went. She was there.
Oh my goodness.
But
and
yeah.
you recommend that for
Oh.
what age groups?
Any age group, any guy, girl, anyone, it is just reaches everyone.
So
it's
children,
funny.
it's good.
Yeah, children, it's good.
And
yeah.
date night.
Yeah, date night.
And you also saw Shrek, right?
yeah, and I
at the
saw
Walnut.
Shrek at the Walnut as well. Yeah,
Okay.
and that was good too, surprisingly.
Well, it's all
Yeah.
different ages,
So
and that's
both
great.
plays I feel like would reach all different age groups. Shrek was really, really funny. Mean Girls is relatable. It takes you back to high school with all the different cliques and all the different, but
sounds
it's funny.
exciting.
Yeah.
Well, Peg, there's a lot of time that we have downtime over
Mm-hmm.
the holiday season, and we end up watching movies. And you actually had a movie shot literally in your street, on your street.
did.
So you have to tell us about that, because whoever hasn't seen the movie has to.
Delaware County. First of all, I have to give the plug for Delaware County because we have Sun Center Studios, which has a lot of action going on right as we speak. The one show, Dispatches from Elsewhere, that's a series, that just folded. That has Sally Field, Jason Segel. That just folded filming in our area.
At the Sun Studios in
All around our
was
area,
all
at
around
the
our
studio,
area, yeah.
in Philadelphia, in the surrounding areas. So that just wrapped up. But there's a new series being filmed in our area. It's an HBO series starring Kate Winslet. And that is they've been all around Delaware County shooting. They were just in Upper Chichester. One of the extras leaked out all the locations on Instagram, and I think she
my
got in a lot of
goodness.
trouble.
I'll bet
But
she did.
But
And when is that movie due out? Do you know?
That's going to be filming here till November.
So there's some
Of next year, I
celebrities.
believe.
11th November next year. That means there
Next
might
year.
be some
So
good
you might be in
celebrity
Wawa
sightings.
and see somebody big. It's got a lot of big names in
Yeah,
it.
it has Evan Peters from American Horror Story. So if you like him, go.
And remember Jean Smart from Designing
Yeah.
Women?
Yes.
She's in
Yes.
it. It's got a lot of names that you'll recognize in it. Kevin Bacon's daughter, she's like a newcomer to the scene.
Yes.
She's in it. And so they're going to be filming all around the area in Philly, Delaware County. but out on the streets, like they were in Upper Chichester, I believe outside of a deli, just different little locations in Upper Chi, which is Delaware County. So you'll be hearing a lot about that in the coming year, lots of sightings, lots of people running into them and all, which is always exciting.
So how about the sightings on your street?
So my street for some reason, it's in Ridley Park. It has been movie centric.
Yeah, it's the
First
new
we
Hollywood.
had this movie, it started in the 80s with Michael Keaton. It was called Clean and Sober, and they did it at my corner, and they put fake snow all over the lawn, and that was an early celebrity sighting back in the 80s. We all watched the movie and got our pictures with Michael Keaton. Then fast forward to just a few years ago, Silver Linings Playbook was filmed on my street, and that starred Bradley Cooper, which of course mother and daughter stalked till we got our picture with him.
I took off school. It was a whole thing.
Actually,
I covered it for the paper for a couple weeks because they blocked off my street, so I had really great access.
Yeah.
So they gave me off like for the week so I could exclusively cover the movie, and we had so much fun with it.
Bradley Cooper might have waved at me. I don't know.
Oh, wasn't that Jennifer Lawrence's breakout film?
That was her breakout film. We had no idea who she was at the time, or we would have.
So you didn't stalk her.
We were so taken with, because it had Robert De Niro.
We're still kicking ourselves to this day that we didn't stalk down Jennifer.
Because she really was kind of not an unknown, but not as big of a blockbuster star
as Robert De Niro and Bradley Cooper at the time. Sure.
And they actually refitted my really good friend and neighbor, his house for the film. So we knew something big was coming because they got his house all redone, and they kept pulling up in these big like country store trailers, and they'd all get out and take pictures. So we knew something big was coming to our street, and it was very cool to watch being filmed because they put fake skylights over our street for a trick or treat scene, and all the neighbors got involved, and they used all the little neighbors as extras in the trick-or-treating scene. So my whole neighborhood got involved. It was a lot of fun. And then we continued because of covering it so up close and personal. When it premiered, we got invited to the premiere, and we covered down in the Lanark Diner. They had a private party where the scenes took place. So we were at the Lanark Diner during the premiere.
That's wonderful.
And they even have a booth there. This is the booth that Bradley and Jennifer sat in during that movie at the Lanark. So we had a lot of fun with that movie. Yeah. It brought a lot of joy to my whole neighborhood, to a lot of people.
And a lot of good stories. You wrote a lot of good stories out of
Being
that.
able to cover it closely like that was really fun.
Really
yes. Now, what about celebrity sightings? Because you're always going someplace running into a celebrity here and there. Where Peg goes, you end up being in the middle of the happening.
It's one of the fun perks of the job. You and I ran into a celebrity not long ago.
We did. It was a great private affair, too. Very small crowd. And at the Gulf Mills Country Club.
Right. It was Devon Prep at golf outing to benefit them. And it was exciting because the original Jersey Boys were there performing.
And now they're called the Midtown Men.
Right, the Midtown Men.
And they have a stage show in case any of our listeners...
They were excellent.
They have a great show.
Excellent.
Yes.
And say who else was there?
Oh, our other surprise was Joe Piscopo. What a guy. Saturday Night Live is our generation Joe Piscopo.
Right.
And he was super, wasn't he,
talking
about his roots? He was so
friendly and so warm and everything. Yes, he was wonderful. He talked all about his Italian roots. He was very proud of them.
He was
Which I liked. He was very humble and down to earth. He was a great guy.
Actually, he mentioned to us that night, if they take down... he was quoted as saying, if they take down Columbus statue in New York, they better put up Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
So he is a funny guy, and he was so personable. And he's got a great talent, too, singing. And he's got a great stage show. He's in Atlantic City from time to time because he's a North Jersey guy.
Right.
You know, so you got the Jersey Boys, which is now called the Midtown Men, if you want to see their stage show. And then you have the Joe Piscopo and so many other shows that are going on. We got to see Cyndi Lauper. That was a fun show.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a fun show. Yeah, it had Rosie O'Donnell. Remember, she did a little surprise appearance.
Yes.
Who else did we run into celebrities that we could think to? say. I'm trying to think off the
We've
bat.
run into.
Well, we have a lot of things too going on in Philadelphia and around the area. In addition to the waterfront area, there's Passyunk Avenue, which is
A very happening
love the
place right
avenue.
now.
You love the avenue?
We love the avenue.
Yeah, one of her favorite restaurants is down there.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite restaurant on Passyunk?
It's right off Passyunk. It's Gnocchi. It's
Gnocchi.
called- Yeah.
Gnocchi. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Italian American. The American Michelle.
That's a good one.
Yeah, where they make all the homemade, and it's so good.
Yes,
Yeah,
and Mara's
I love
has
it.
been on
One
Passyunk
right after the
Avenue for
other.
years.
Yeah.
There's some top chefs on Passyunk Avenue now.
Yep.
My Bob would just think that the word Passyunk is so funny.
That's funny.
Because if you're not from Philadelphia, you really have a
you
hard
wouldn't
time figuring out how to say it.
Schuylkill. There's a lot of words like that you wouldn't know how to
Conshohocken,
write.
Schuylkill,
Yeah, we have a
Passyunk.
ton of them, even Balkin. There's a lot of words that
Yes,
you
yes.
have to be around
But
here.
they
to-
all have their fun spots to go see, and Passyunk Avenue is definitely one.
It is
yeah,
thriving
definitely.
right now. They
Yeah.
have a whole new restaurant scene there that's really built
Yeah.
up. It's fun.
Now, you guys went someplace that had a lot of photo ops with
Oh,
candy
yeah.
props.
Oh,
and
that's
all.
the
what
new
was
con-
going on over there?
Candytopia.
That's down at the
Candytopia.
new
Fashion
fashion
district.
district on Market Street.
Yeah.
I hear you were down there too. I saw you.
Actually, I was just at Joan Shep's, and they had the graduation of the graduate class from the new Fashion Institute in Philadelphia.
fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because it's Fashion Week now. Is it Fashion Week
Well,
now?
I'm not
Coming
sure when the
up to it.
show was airing, but it was just around this time, and what great talent
The
we
fashion
had.
is exploded in Philadelphia. The whole fashion district, the fashion. They have a spring and fall fashion week. I love
Philly
to go to
Fashion
that.
Week, yeah.
The fashions are far out, but it's fun.
So let's go back to this candy.
Oh yeah, so the
Candytopia.
Candytopia.
That is an Instagrammer's dream place
Okay.
to visit. They had all different, it was like a giant candy land. So they have all different photo ops. They had a giant pit of marshmallows that you can jump in and take your pictures or your boomerangs with for Instagram, throwing the marshmallows. They had all different sculptures built out of every kind of candy you can imagine. They had free candy in each room, so it was like trick-or-treating for adults because we went to it right before Halloween time, so that was fun. And then what else? did
There's
they have there?
another place like it
Yeah.
too, up in King of Prussia that just opened called the Happy Place,
I haven't heard of that one
that's the same kind of.
concept.
Tonight you
concept.
can go there at Weekend John as an exclusive.
Friday
an
night?
exclusive. No, tonight you can head on over to the Happy Place. Gritty's going to be there. He's
Oh,
doing a special
okay. Well,
at
this
King of
might not be
Prussia.
airing in time for that.
yeah, sorry,
but that's
but-
okay. But Gritty. So let's talk
Yeah.
about Gritty. Have you been in his company yet?
No, I haven't been in his company.
He really took off fast in
yeah, but
Philadelphia.
they
took
hated
off
him, and
fast.
then he won America's Heart Over. Yeah.
He did really quick.
Yeah.
And I don't think he beat out the Philly Fanatic yet, but he's
No,
getting
but
close.
he's
Getting
very.
there.
I just read something. The reason he's so popular is because he's kind of like an underdog that everybody at first said Gritty, you know,
Yeah.
and Philadelphia embraces their underdogs,
do.
Yeah.
and that's why he skyrocketed so quickly.
Yeah.
Well, he really has taken
Yeah,
off.
He really is. He's
Actually, I
he's
heard
really
a rumor
everywhere.
he might be in the New Year's Day parade.
I heard that same
Probably.
rumor. Somebody told me that too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good to
Yeah.
know that. At
Uh-huh.
least we both heard it from different sources, so there might be something to see there. Have you been down to the New Year's parade on Broad?
We
Oh, of
never
course,
missed
since
it.
I was
I've been
younger.
there since I was
Yeah.
born every year.
Yeah.
I
We
was going
never
to say, it's
missed it.
as a
And then
South
2
Philly
Street,
native,
yep.
of course, you know, being on Broad
My
Street.
grandparents
Yeah.
lived right there every year since I was born. I've been there.
So you
Yeah.
would encourage families
Oh,
to?
it's the greatest time
There's
ever.
nothing like it.
There's nothing
Yeah.
like it. It's just not New Year's Day.
Well, now that we changed our location from Broad Street and we're getting used to Center City, do you have a favorite spot to go to?
Well,
Like a corner? that you hang?
I always like the South Philly version.
I know, but they're not doing
I
it
know,
down there
I
in
know.
South Philly anymore. So you do have to go around
Right.
Philadelphia and City Hall, but it's still the parade. The
Last
fever
year-
is great.
The-
I
It's
was at
the
the end
fever.
of it last year. Me, my aunt, my cousin, and my brother, we parked at the end of it. That was the funnest time I've ever had the parade because
Where
by
did
then
the parade end?
oh, I forget what.
Okay, well,
But-
we'll have to, our listeners will have to find
Yeah,
it
have
out
to
themselves.
research it. Yeah, but we parked at we worked our way somehow down to the end, and that's where they all dance with you. All the mummers come, and the crowd breaks in, and it's just a giant dance party with the mummers. And
Marguerite, it
the
sounds like you
funnest.
really know where to go, even more than your mom. And that's saying
My days
something.
of dancing with the
Yeah.
mummers.
The mummer strut.
I
You're
know, but
tired.
you still are out and about pretty
Yeah.
frequently.
Well, you know, when my husband was living, we had a big camper, and we would park our camper down there in the night times before the police barricades go up, in the day.
Right.
And everybody would come to our corner, and we would have food and drinks and hot chocolate and everything, and a place to go to the bathroom and get warm,
Right,
So
right.
we always had a big party down the New Year's parade. It's a great time.
And when I was growing up, we were down the South Philly area. So we always had a relative that had some store on Broad
Right.
Street that was closed that
That
day
you could get
that
in.
had
That was
hot
cool.
chocolate and
'Cause it does
bathroom
get
facilities.
cold. You do have to
Right.
bundle up. It's cold.
It's okay, but after a while there, as you get older and are
Yeah.
able to drink a little
Exactly.
bit, it does
Exactly.
tend to warm up some.
But it's a great time.
Yeah, but anytime we've shared some good parades together, Peg.
sure have.
You and I
We sure have.
ridden on floats in some fun parades.
There's nothing like being at a parade, all the excitement, and it's just a
And
great time.
Philadelphia and some of the local areas too. Springfield has great parades. Newtown Square.
They do,
Media
definitely,
has the big
definitely.
Veterans Parade. So if people haven't gotten to go to a parade, you should.
Right.
And if you
Yeah.
ever have the opportunity to ride on a float,
Right,
is
that's
there
the
anything
wonderful.
better?
No, there's nothing better. Once you do that, you get kind of spoiled. And I don't know about marching anymore.
I
once you're out
know,
on the
I
floor.
know.
You get just a vantage point view of everything too. It's really fun.
It is a cool thing to
Yeah,
do.
very
It is
cool.
a cool thing
You
to
get that
do.
Miss America wave going on. It's fun.
So now I want to talk a little bit about your career as a journalist, Peg, because you've been writing since you were so young. And to me, your columns reflect seriousness, they reflect today's cultures, but they also reflect a lot of fun. And your humor in life reminds me, some of the younger listeners may not know or remember Irma Brombeck. But
Birnbeck.
Birnbeck, yes.
She was wonderful. Bombeck.
Bombeck, right.
Yeah,
Her
she was wonderful.
writing was wonderful. And your journalism, you just
Thank you.
love
That's
it.
a high compliment.
It's
Thank
just, how did you feel,
Well, you have to
find
put
the
the
love
fun.
of it?
Well, I always loved it for some reason from when I was little, and then I was my high school newspaper editor, my college newspaper editor. I just always loved it. I love newspapers. I guess I'm a newsy person. I just like to know what's going on all the time. So I love it, and you have to put the fun in your job. You could just sit at a computer and blah, 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 blah. Or you can make your job fun. And with social media, you can make it really fun because
Isn't it fun? I was just going to say, in our generation, we didn't have that social media
there's a
content.
lot of tools now. That's just an extra
Yeah.
tool.
It is.
So it makes the job a lot more difficult because besides it's just a print version, you have the web version, the social media version. So you have to put it up in a lot of different platforms. But it's just a fun world to be a journalist, and because there's just so much happening. Truthfully, you can't do it all. That's
Yes.
my trouble. You can't do it all. Where I always want to try to squeeze everything in to do it all because it's all so much fun.
There's so
And
many great stories
There's so
out
many
there
great
to share.
stories.
Yes.
So many great
Yeah.
stories.
Because there is a good side to the news, don't you think?
There's a lot, and thankfully I'm in a position where I can cover the good things, the upbeat things, because we have more serious reporters that cover crime and politics, so I usually choose feature stories that are more interesting to me, or more fun, or more trendy. It's nice having younger children who keep you up on all the trends. Like
That's
I'll say,
true.
"What's this I heard of?" And always being abreast of what's happening, because people always want to know what's happening. Life's about change, new things and all.
I know,
And
that's why I love writing my Italian column
Mm-hmm.
and calling it E chi fa, because, it's what's happening.
It's what's
in Italian
happening.
and English, everybody wants to know what's happening.
Everybody, and people say like newspapers are passe, and who reads newspapers? People will always read newspapers, whether it's online, on social media. They want to know what's happening in their neighborhood and their area. And you could go to the big stations, CNN, Fox, to find out what's happening around the world. But there's only certain places you could go to find out what's happening right here, what's
In your
happening on
hometown.
Friday night, what's happening on Saturday night, what's happening with my neighbors. People want to know. And that's where the local papers come in.
Well, my association with you both personally and professionally has been one of the things that I treasure most in my career. So I can't thank you enough.
Because we're both always looking for fun.
We're both nosy. I think that's
nosy,
what it
and we
is.
like the fun
right.
things.
My mother would say, "You're so nosy. You're so nosy."
When people say to me, I'm like, yeah, I work for a newspaper.
I know.
We're
Now,
some nosy.
Marguerite's
People
our
call her
younger
Stu.
generation, right? So we
Yeah.
naturally put the beauty in between the two of us. And Marguerite, you recently, in the last while, graduated from college, have your degree, got your real estate license. What do you love about what you do?
I love, like we were just talking about the social media and stuff, how my degree is in communications, and I was early elementary education and then changed to communications and never looked back because I found that was my fit. I don't know if it's in my blood from her,
Right.
but so I love that with being a realtor, that it's all about standing out because it's competitive. So creating your own brand and getting out there, and like the Weekend Johns, where I'm telling you the fun things happening in the area every Friday, and using the power of social media, that I can still keep that communications aspect. And it's fun to build your own brand in a sense. And
So I have to bring up a thing, because when we were talking about your weekend jaunts, I'm thinking jaunts, Jaunt, like a jaunt, right? And actually it's JAWNS.
Yep.
Okay. So for those that are not the younger generation and those of the older generation that just don't know, educate us on what that is.
A John is a pronoun for anything. So it's Philly slang, and now it's in the dictionary. I believe it's actually in the dictionary.
It made it to the dictionary? Oh,
I mean,
my
the Urban
God.
Dictionary.
No, I believe it's in the dictionary.
Webster?
So you can use it in
it's
Scrabble?
Okay,
But-
that's a good word to use in Scrabble.
But so if I were to say this cup, oh, here, pass me this John, or you can use it for pretty much, as crazy as it sounds, you can use it for anything. And people, it's Philly slang, it's popular.
Okay,
So,
Philly slang.
try
I'm
it out
going to
next
hear
time I
it
see you.
on, what's that TV show? Danny DeVito's TV show.
Oh, Always Sunny?
in
Yeah, I love
Philadelphia.
Always
We
Sunny.
going to hear that on?
Yeah, I'm sure they've dropped John. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I mean, they've done Mercury in Retrograde. Regis Philbin started that quite a few years
Yeah.
ago, right? So now we'll have to see that. Speaking of, have you been to any of this Always Sunny in Philadelphia spots around the city yet?
No, I haven't, but I always wanted to do. I saw, I don't know if they still do it, but that
They
they have
do.
a tour, and I
they
wanted,
do.
me and my boyfriend are obsessed with Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I would love to do that.
So
to go.
that's one of the things you'll have to come back and report
Yeah,
on.
I'll report back.
When
I think
you
that'd
do
be
your
so
It's
funny.
Always Sunny.
We'll wear our Flipadelphia shirts and we'll go. That's
Oh
from
my
the show.
goodness.
So.
They have a tour where they take you around to all the movie
Yeah.
spots of Philadelphia.
It really is getting there. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Philadelphia is a really
It's on the
big
map.
It
movie
is.
spot.
If
We
they would
haven't
do
even.
the tax credit thing, it would go through the roof.
It would really be nice if we had Philadelphia tax credits. But a lot of them are doing it because they believe in Philadelphia. Look at Sylvester Stallone, how many times he comes
Right.
back. And he's always a good one. We actually know people who were extras in his movies.
Right, and
Creed.
the Irishman just filmed here.
That's right.
With Robert De Niro.
I heard Hank had some of those guests on his show.
Oh,
which
nice.
Which must have been cool. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exploding because I remember Jeff Rotwood, who owns Sun Center. I remember him saying it's just the ideal location. It's by the airport. It's in between New York and D.C. It's got the river there. It's just an ideal location here in Philadelphia.
It is, and they're real supporters. Actually, Will Smith shot at
Right.
his
Yep,
studio.
Yes, he did.
What was the
Yeah.
name of that? It was Jaden's first,
Right, I
son's
remember
first
the-
movie. Something about the 4th of July. Was it 4th
Right,
of July?
I can't remember the name of the film, but
Right.
there was something.
The
spaceship.
Something. It was a
Wasn't that long
spaceship.
ago.
Remember,
Yeah.
we saw it being built.
We did.
It was something. I can't think of
I
it.
think it was 4th of July, if
right.
I'm not mistaken.
It was a sci-fi or something,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
But he's been true to Philadelphia and
He
his
has been.
roots.
He has
Patti LaBelle is always another great Philadelphia
I
personality.
was on the Spirit of Philadelphia not long ago, a few months back, and they show you everything when you're going along. And there was a condo there, and they said that's where Will Smith's parents live. He bought that for his parents, so I guess his family still lives here.
They all have roots here.
Yeah.
Yes, we really do have. Bruce Springsteen. New Jersey has Bruce Springsteen and so many others, and you know, like we say, Sylvester Stallone keeps coming back, Bruce
Right.
Willis comes back,
Right.
and films from time to time. The Sixth Sense, that's another
Right, that's
film.
on that movie tour. I remember them.
Right, it's another one that they could go in
Right.
and see the streets of Philadelphia. So we're really kicking
It's
Right.
when
New
it comes
Hollywood.
to that.
Yeah.
It is
East
getting
Coast Hollywood.
East Coast Hollywood.
Mhm.
That's what it should be. And then the Food Network channel and all the possibilities of these young chefs coming out.
Right, look at Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
That was another one of those celebrities that he opened up a restaurant inside Harris Chester,
Right.
and he's been there twice promoting it.
Yeah.
Actually, you covered a book signing by
Martha Stewart.
Martha
Go tell
Stewart
us
also,
about it.
right.
Where was she at your
That-
book signing?
Terrain.
So-
She was
She's-
at Terrain in Glen Mills.
Terrain Glen Mills.
Yeah.
But tell the
She-
story about what your mother made you do.
Oh my God.
Your mother, I love her.
My mom had this like 1930s, no,
Martha
seriously,
Stewart collapse.
1970s cookbook.
From
And she
Martha,
said- Martha,
one of her
Yeah.
first
Martha,
ones.
and she said, "Take this with you and get it signed." I said, "Mom, I'm not taking that cookbook and getting it signed. Take it with you. Take it with you." So,
Because the
Margaret-
purpose is for you to buy the new cookbook
Right, to
buy the
and
new
have them
cookbook.
sign the
The
new
new
cookbook.
So you're gonna make me sound cheap here.
No!
So I covered the event. So Marguerite's with me at the event, and I just ditched it in my car. I go, I'm not bringing in that cookbook. I'm too embarrassed. So I'm at the event, and they said you can't get in. You have to buy a book to get in the signing. And I looked at the books, and they were like $35, $40. So Marguerite, go out to the car and get that. Go out to the car and get that cookbook. I'm gonna get over my pride and get it signed. So I did.
And what did
Worked
she
like a
say?
charm.
When
Oh,
you
she
got
loved
up
it.
at
She
the
said,
table?
We look like
"Oh, I
super
haven't
fans."
seen that. We look like super fans." She said, "This is one of my early. I haven't seen this forever." And she spent extra time with us on account of it.
And
God bless my mom.
And see how
Mother
the
knows best.
mother knows best, right? No matter what age.
Yeah.
And that was your grandmother.
Right, and then they invited us back a second time. She had a holiday cocktail party because she was promoting her wines. So we got to meet her a second time.
So you are definitely getting to be Martha Stewart fans. Now, I just remembered you did a really special interview with Geraldo Rivera.
I
And you
did.
have to tell us how you got that one right at the Media Theater.
That was very special. Very special. I don't remember exactly how I got it. But
Oh, you called. I remember you telling me he wasn't giving interviews
right, he wasn't
to
giving
anybody.
interviews, and he did sit with me for an interview, and he'd be like an idol to me.
Right.
So I just loved that night. That was really special to me. I was so excited. I
And
was
so-
nervous too, because I felt like here I am interviewing the king of interviews. You know, be like a Barbara Walters interview or something.
And how
You get
did
really
he
nervous.
treat you?
He was as kind and humble and sweet. He acted like he just was the best. He was just as good. You know when you really, somebody's like an idol or an icon to you that you look up to, and then you meet them and you're kind of disappointed because they might not have been what you thought. He was everything and then some. He was so sweet and nice. Yeah, I liked him a
You know,
lot.
I had that impression when I met Charles Barkley at the then September's Place that was on Baltimore Pike
I remember.
years ago. And Charles, you know, had such a crazy personality when he came off of the playing field. And I thought, I wasn't looking forward to being in his company. And here, he was the opposite of that. And he is the nicest, kindest,
See?
most generous person. And he's even been appearing on Shark Tank.
It's very nice when you come away with that feeling.
It
about
is,
somebody.
because when the other ones disappoint you, it's a shame. Because the people are who, you know, make their
I agree with that. Yeah.
to make their life.
Yeah.
I know, you know, I don't normally get to talk about him too much, but my uncle being Al Alberts, he never denied anybody an autograph. He always stopped and said hello.
See, that's
He-
nice to
Yeah,
hear.
We
about
never went
somebody.
food shopping with him. We let him go alone because he would take forever to get out of the
Right, 'cause
supermarket
everybody
because
would
he
wanna-
stopped
yeah,
to talk
right,
to everybody.
right.
And it's funny, I ran into someone, I was at this lawyer's office, and when he heard, he said, you know, when I was 10 years old, I was in a grocery store, and my mother came to get me. She says, let's go down this aisle. Al Alberts is down there.
Isn't
and
that
I said,
funny?
that's why we never went to the grocery store with him.
That's funny.
Because he would always take pictures. So it's important.
It is important because people remember it, and then they
Yeah.
tell people, see, here telling,
Yeah.
you know.
And you never know, like Jennifer Lawrence, who's going to be the star tomorrow?
You never know.
We learned that lesson the hard way.
You still regret that, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, we should have been stalking her down too.
I know. So some parting tips to your generation that wants to get out there and use social media, doesn't know how to start. What made you just do it, Marguerite?
I think the most important thing, because there's so much social media, and there's so many people utilizing it, and everybody wants to be an influencer. People go to school now with that goal, that they want to be a social media influencer, the younger generations. So I guess just have fun with it and stay true to yourself, like authentic, because I feel like that so many people want to be the influencer and big on social media and stuff. So they'll copy, they see it, and you can't help but take it from other people that you're seeing continuously and will emulate them. But you should find your niche and stay authentic to yourself.
And I have to ask you, put it on the spot a little bit about your association with the older generation, because you actually embrace it more than steer away from it. Mm-hmm. What would you advise some of the younger folks out there to do, especially around the holiday seasons coming up and being around all those older generation relatives?
Yeah, I think you shouldn't. It's just more audience that you're reaching out to. So you shouldn't discount anyone, because everyone, you should always appeal to all the audiences, and
good.
Yeah, it's good to tie them in.
You
can always learn from people that are older. You shouldn't discount them. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You're a great example of that with your mom's talents being passed on.
Thanks.
And Peg, how about you? What kinds of things do you think that it's important today, and do you think the newspaper industry is going to stay alive a little bit longer? Because I
definitely think the newspapers are going to stay alive. Like I just told you, we could put anything up on the web and people will still call us and say, but when's it going to be in print? They want it in print. They want something tangible. They want to be able to cut out the picture and hang it on their fridge, or send it to their grandmother, put it in a scrapbook. No matter how many things you put on the web, people don't feel like it's of the same value or the same worth unless it's in print in the paper. Isn't that funny? And yet people profess like that they don't, newspapers, they're not going to be around forever, but yet it doesn't have the same value when it's online. Because online you could find anything, half of it's true, half not. Like I can't use online stuff in my research because who knows who put it up there, and if you have to have credible sources, and a newspaper is a credible source that it's been researched. Like if I said I wrote online, Barbara owns this restaurant, you might not, but who's going to check if I write it online? But if you get it from a newspaper, that's facts that have been checked out from reliable sources, and that's a big difference though.
And then, besides those, and community newspapers. World news, you may get your world news online and through multimedia stations and channels. But your local newspapers, the people want to see their local news.
Warren Buffett was coming in, buying up some local newspapers, a big tycoon like that, because he realizes the worth. People need those community. They're the voice
community
of the
and ethnic newspapers. Even the ethnic newspapers. There's Aldea. We know the Greek
There's a
guy.
Niche. Everything has a niche.
Italians. Yes. Even the Chinese. There's the Chinese and Japanese Association, Newspaper Association.
You walk around through Chinatown, you see all the Chinese.
I know that's another area we forgot to tell people to hit Chinatown.
Oh, yeah, that's a great area. That's always fun to go to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different
and the Reading
pockets.
Terminal. We have to Reading Terminal. Got to
Italian
go.
Market. There's all kinds of fun niches.
Philly's the best.
Philly's the
best. It has it all.
Philly.
Yep.
And when we say Philly, we mean the surrounding regions.
The whole area.
Too.
The whole area.
Definitely.
Montgomery County, Delaware County,
Chester
Bucks.
County.
Yeah.
You could even go over the bridge in Delaware and New Jersey.
Right. We're so close to it all. That's why when people complain about the traffic in our area, they're always like, there's so much traffic. Yeah, because everybody wants to live around here because there's so much stuff happening
to do.
and things to do. If you want to go out where there's land, sit there.
That's right. So actually, we have to wrap
Bird
up
count.
because we just had so many things to tell you, and hope that just maybe one of the things that you hear today. Oh,
We
that's
bought you
right.
flags
We bought
in
flags.
honor
We
of
know you
Hank.
love flags.
So
Oh,
we really,
cheers.
we know Hank
We're
loves
gonna
his
cheers to
flags.
He does.
And we
he
miss him
does.
here
Yeah.
today.
We
miss
do.
him.
Yeah.
We do miss you, Hank. Thanks
Hank, we
again.
miss you.
Yes.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Hank Cisco Show. I'm Barbara Ann Zippy, your host with Ciao Bella Living Italian Style, and we'll have Peg and Marguerite back again because there's more
We loved it.
to talk about. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.